There's only one golden child, my mom, Susan, snapped while seating me at the kids' table. Then she gave Ethan a Mustang and handed me a rusty toolbox, so I froze the $275,000 trust and cut them off forever. During the family get-together, I was the only person who didn't have a seat. Really, they had decorated the backyard like it was a wedding. White chairs, flowers in the center of every table, and printed name cards. I looked over the whole setup, searching for mine, thinking maybe it got moved, and then I spotted it sitting far off on the table for the kids. A card that read second after Ethan. "What is this?" I whispered, lifting it in my hand. "Oh, please stop overreacting," Susan said as she walked past, holding a tray filled with cupcakes. She shot Ethan a wink. "We all already know there's just one golden child in this family." Ethan laughed out loud through his nose. "Come on, it's just meant to be funny," Susan added, but it wasn't. A second later, she stepped out from the garage with car keys hanging from a giant red bow. "Ethan," she called, getting everyone's attention. "Your surprise is outside in the driveway." Everybody followed after her, clapping and gasping like he had won some huge prize. I walked behind them all, slower. Parked in the driveway was a fully repaired 1969 Mustang, shiny and polished, like it belonged in a showroom. "Your grandfather always wished for you to have this," Susan said, wiping away fake tears. "We've kept it safe all these years. You earned it, sweetheart." Ethan looked like he might cry. Then Susan turned back to me. "Oh, you didn't think we forgot about you, did you?" she asked, wearing the fake smile she always used when she wanted to insult me nicely. She crouched behind the table and stood up with an old, rusty toolbox. Not new, not even wiped clean. It looked like something dug up from a dump. "Take this," she said, pushing it into my hands, "so you can finally begin fixing your life." A few people chuckled. Aunt Lisa even clapped her hands. Cousin Jack leaned over and whispered to his girlfriend, and they both looked at me like I was some kind of stray dog. I swallowed my feelings and nodded. "Well, thank you," I said. Susan smiled big. "See, he understands perfectly." Everybody laughed again and went back to celebrating. Ethan opened the hood of his new car while everyone crowded around him. I just stood there holding that dirty old toolbox like I didn't exist. That night, I didn't return home. I went back to my job office and stayed until 2 a.m. Nobody in my family had ever asked what I really did for work. They assumed I was some regular desk guy with a fancy title and no backbone. Let them keep believing that. 2 days later, I sat inside the corner office on the top floor and watched as the boardroom slowly filled up. The big seat at the end of the table. That one belonged to me. Now, what they don't know, what Susan still has no idea about, is that I've secretly owned half this company for the past 3 years. And now they've made me CEO. So yes, I got her message loud and clear. Now I'm sending my own back. They always acted like I was just an extra in Ethan's life story. Growing up, it was always obvious who they loved most. Ethan, the favorite, the athlete, the smooth talker, the one who just needed some space to figure things out when he quit college 2 times. Me? I was the backup, the grown-up, the one who handled problems when others failed. I never asked for anything, so they gave me nothing. It started out small. "Can you help Ethan with rent this month? Just until he gets another job." That was year 1. By year 3, I was paying for Ethan's car loan, credit cards, and even a vet bill for his dog because even his golden retriever got more love than I did. "Family helps each other," Susan would tell me kindly on the phone, but what she really meant was, "You help Ethan." Dad barely spoke. He just nodded while Ethan slowly drained their retirement savings, one false dream at a time. And me, I was too proud to say no. I didn't want to seem like the bitter sibling. So, I paid month after month, silently. Even while Ethan sipped coffee at fancy cafes, meeting connections, even when he showed up wearing Gucci shoes, he got cheap. Even when Susan told the neighbors that Ethan was working on a big startup idea, leaving out the part where I was the one secretly covering all his costs. They never asked about my job, never stopped by my home, never once checked if I was okay. They just assumed I'd always keep giving. Everything started falling apart because of a phone call at 11 o'clock at night. "Hey," Ethan said, sounding as relaxed as usual. "Can you talk for a moment?" He only ever called for one reason. "I need a tiny favor," he said before I had the chance to speak. "Just a couple thousand. My car isn't working and I've got a date this weekend. Well, actually 2 dates, long story, and now I'm kind of stuck. I'll return the money at some point." I didn't respond. "Are you still there?" he asked. "Yeah, I'm just thinking," I said. "Did Susan ask you to call me?" He waited, then chuckled. "What? No way. But she did mention you've been acting kinda moody lately. Are you okay, man?" Moody? I had been giving him money for years, and now I was being called moody just because I didn't instantly agree to pay for his Uber rides. That weekend, I went to visit my parents. Susan was calmly drinking tea and watching one of those decorating shows she always claimed I'd enjoy if I ever tried being creative. "You know Ethan is dealing with a lot," she said before I even sat down. "With what, exactly?" I asked. "He's unemployed. He's considering his choices," she snapped. "Not everybody wants to work nonstop like you do." I laughed. "You mean running a company?" She blinked slowly. "Honey, we understand you say you're important at your job, but let's be real. You're just dependable. Ethan takes chances," she said seriously. Like being reliable was a weakness, as if owning 49% of a fast-growing tech business was somehow worse than Ethan's incomplete podcast effort. I stood up. "Let me guess," I said. "You want me to help him again?" "It's just a car bill," she shouted, suddenly upset. "He needs help getting back on track. He has an audition this week." "Audition? He's 35, I said. "What did Dad say?" "Your father agrees with me," she replied. "And really, after all we've given up for you, this is the least you can do." "Everything you gave up for me?" I stared at her like she had hit me. "What exactly did you sacrifice, Susan?" She paused. "We fed you, gave you a house, let you use our old car while you were in college." I shook my head. "You sold me that car." She waved her hand like it didn't matter. "That's just a detail." And in that moment, something painful but also freeing became clear. They don't actually value me. They only value what I give them. That same night, I checked my bank account just out of curiosity. In the last 5 years, I had spent $59,000 on Ethan and our parents. Money for rent, credit card payments, college fees for a class Ethan dropped, birthday presents, personal loans that were never paid back. $86,000. And what did I receive? A metal toolbox. A toolbox with rusted handles and dirt in every corner. 2 days later, I attended a work retreat. I delivered the opening speech. I was promoted. Our chief operating officer went on maternity leave, and I was chosen to take over. Chief executive officer of the company I had helped build from the beginning. I didn't tell anyone in my family, not yet. I wanted to wait. They still believed I just worked in technology, still thought I was some regular guy sitting in a cubicle. Let them believe it. Let them make jokes about me. Let them keep asking for money, pretending they were doing me a favor by letting me be helpful, because now I had a real plan, and it started with just one word. "No," I said. "You're acting selfish," Susan said with anger in her voice. "You can't just walk away from your family." I looked at her from across the dinner table, my fork frozen halfway to my mouth. It was just a normal Sunday meal. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, but the air felt heavy. I had known this day was coming. Ethan was sitting in front of me, his arms folded, pretending to be the one hurt like he always did. Dad didn't lift his head, keeping his focus on his food. Susan looked like she'd been practicing this talk in front of the mirror all week long. I had just explained that I wouldn't be helping anymore. No more sending money, no more paying for broken cars, no more covering Ethan's rent just because he wasted his money on expensive shoes. "You can't do this," Susan whispered, but the pain in her voice was real now, not fake like all those years. "I am," I said firmly, "because, Susan, I'm not your golden child. I never was." After months of pretending, months of being just a safety net, I had finally found my voice. And when I left that night, no one stopped me. No one even tried. That was my last dinner with my family. But that was fine. I realized something else that night. I wasn't the failure. They were. And I still had a whole life ahead of me.